Hi everybody, welcome back to sprueVerse, my scale model universe, and part 3 of Build the 1/6 scale resin, all resin kit of this great time machine from the 1960s movie produced by George Pal, starring, of course, Rod Taylor, of the same name, The Time Machine. And this is, of course, the sprueVerse Challenge. So if you're new to the channel or you're just finding me sitting here and wondering what's going on, welcome. It's great to have you with me. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. It means an awful lot to me. And also my dear friends Wayne Green over at World of Wayne, and of course the great Lou Del Meso over the Aztec Dummy would also appreciate a like and subscribe as well, as the three of us tackle this incredible kit. And lots going on, so I want to sort of dive in and let's really talk about it. This kit is a really beautiful kit. The molding of this is absolutely excellent. The details are terrific. You're going to have a lot of fun putting it together. I honestly don't believe that's the tough part here. It's a simple build from that regard. Now, obviously, it's resin, so there's a lot to think about in terms of cleanup and protecting yourself. Always, always, always try to do these things outside when you're cleaning up resin and drilling it or sanding it. Try to use a respirator whenever possible. Please, please, please. It's very important we keep everybody safe, especially with resin. You don't want to breathe the dust. And likewise with the flocking, one of my dear subscribers reminded me as well, it's a good idea to be wearing some kind of respirator or at least a good N95 mask when you're flocking as well. You don't want to breathe that either. But to remind everybody, the sprueVerse challenge was not just to build this beautiful model, but it was also to light it and also to get this, this time saucer, this rotor spinning. And so that's the challenge. And we've talked a little bit in the last couple of episodes about some of our plans for that. Now, Wayne has created the sort of programmed boards, an engine driver for this. And parts of that we have, parts of that I don't have, because he's sending me a new one that's been reprogrammed and it hasn't arrived yet. Lou is way ahead of us because he was able to reprogram his own. And so he's off to the races in terms of getting this thing together. In fact, I think he has got it fired up, and a lot of his control surfaces are working. So we know that this is a basic working system. There's a couple of things we don't know yet, and that is just exactly how the bevel gears will work with a motor. We're trying several different kinds of motors. We've got a worm motor, we've got a basic 12 volt, and there's some brushless motors on the way as well. We've got ourselves some couplings. Here I've got these couplings here, and they will attach the drive shafts to the bevel gears, and then of course back to our model, which is looking quite beautiful actually. You can actually start to see it come together. As I'm looking here, we just have to square it all up. There we go. But you can see the Victoriana of it all, and it's really coming together. And so I am super, super, super happy with how the paint details are coming together. Lou Del Meso's masking sets are just an absolute godsend. They've allowed us to not only create this beautiful filigreed surface on our drums, but they've also given us the ability to paint our side panels as well. And so really grateful to Lou and Wayne for their contributions. I feel like my contribution is obviously these metal pieces that are going to make up the bulk of hopefully our engine driver. And I keep promising them, and we're not there, but we're almost there. In fact, in this video, you're actually going to see a quick visit with Mike the metalsmith as we look at where we are on those pieces. And hopefully by the end of the week, I can get all of those metal parts off to Wayne and Lou, and we can really start looking towards the end of this. Now, a couple of other things. just for this portion of the Part 3 update. I don't have my second dish yet. It hasn't arrived, but I believe it's on the way, or should be here, and then I can get that painted and ready to go. It's going to need to be obviously drilled and attached to something that allows it to sit like this, and so but you can really start to see this kit coming together. So I'm just super happy with how it's all going now. One of the other things is I'm pretty close to finishing up the front console, and so what that entails now is all the lighting is in, by the way, and even for the side lights I've actually installed. You can see here I've installed these little 8050, I believe, little strips, and I've done those on both ends, and those are going to light up these cones. I'll put this one on so you can see it sits in there quite nicely, and that's all going to light up, so that's beautiful. Really happy with the sort of Victoriana of it all. Those are the greens, the purples, the blacks. It's all sort of coming together. And then, of course, we've got these lovely resin 3D printed little cones that go over the lights. You'll see here. I'm going to try and put those all in for you without losing one or breaking one, because I'm good at doing all of that. But I really want you to see this, how this is sort of coming together. And then, of course, the front panel, which I do not have any, there's no decal work done to this yet. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And so if I turn this to, oops, if I'm careful here, and I turn this to the side, like this, and put this in display, and one more piece, and that is, oh, the tube isn't in yet. I haven't installed it, but that will go, oops, oh, on camera. That's what happens. It's okay. Anyway, I'm trying too hard to put all this together to show you, and of course, in doing so, I dropped my key on the floor. So play amongst yourselves for a second here. That's the beauty of the having a live to tape production. I don't have to cut, and I can pick up my pieces that I drop all over the floor. So anyway, what I was trying to show you is that, and I'll do it again on close-up because I've taken this off, that I've produced the key, and I've created a sort of marbleized look to it, and I'm very happy with that. And that will obviously drive the machine. And so everything is really starting to come together. You can see here how it's going to look. Oops. I'll try one more time, and then I'm not going to play with this anymore because I don't want to keep dropping and chewing on there. Isn't that fun? It's great fun, and all the pieces are coming together really well. So I couldn't be happier. Now, as you can see, I've got this literally spaghetti of wires that are coming out of the kit here, as you can see here, and they're going to be attached to the board that will drop in here, and then power will be then sent to the back of the board where the engine is located. I'm going to just put these safely away, guys, so that I don't lose anything, because I'm really good at losing things. And I wanted to bring in these finished side rails. Here they are. Isn't that fun? And I've painted those in the antique brass. It's Krylon has it, and then it got a final coat of the MIG polished metal brass too, and I'm really happy with it. And I hit it with some varnish too, just to make sure it's all sealed. But the wires are all sealed in there, and as you can see, I've got 2 leads in this one right here, and then in the other one I have got 4 leads. And so I've got plenty of power here, and these are all ready to go. And so that will, once I've got my control surface sealed up, I can then send power to the back of the time machine, and we're sort of dangerously close. The next 2 big hurdles for me are going to be getting the control boards hooked up and make sure that they're working. I'm going to pray to the electric gods that all works, because if that is all working, then my last big issue is literally getting the gear, the bevel gear set up, the metal parts and everything attached to this rear dish. And so for as close as we are here, we are miles away. So do not let this fool you, because while we're in pretty good shape, and I feel like we're in pretty good shape, we've done a lot of heavy lifting to get here. The coup de grace is going to be getting this in its sort of final, hey, look, it's all working, with all the bells and whistles. So we'll pray for that, and I'm hoping actually we'll see. For sure in this video, in this update, you're going to see the metal parts for sure. But beyond that, I don't know what else we'll be updating in this video. The only other thing actually I do want to say is that I've put a wood grain on my base, and I left a couple of photos of that on my Instagram page. If you want to follow me there, you certainly can. It's sprueVerse, and I post daily sort of little detail in the weeds moments of the build so that you can see where I am. And a lot of people were asking about how I produce the wood grain. It's actually fun, and not difficult. Once you've got a good base coat of whatever you're using, in this case I used a Krylon color called Espresso. And once that was once that was sealed, I hit it with a little varnish, and then I dusted it with a little bit of red oxide and also a little bit of walnut from Krylon. Now the reason why you do that is to create a stippling effect, and then after you've got your stippling effect, let that dry, and then I like to use fan brushes. This is one of my go-to brushes. They're not expensive fan brushes. You can get these at any hobby store. This is the kind that I'm using. It's just a very cheap fan brush. This happens to be from CraftSmart. And what I like about these brushes is that when you get them wet and you drag them across the surface, they'll create a natural grain surface for you. So I then took a couple of colors from the Vallejo world. I'll show you the ones I used. I used the camel pale brown and the mahogany. Here they are. And what you do is you drag your brush up and down the surface until you get something you're happy with. And I have to tell you, the results are really good. I'm not sure how much of it you can see, but you can see it's got this lovely grain effect to it, and I'm really happy with it. Now, I also did not flock my footrest. This happens to be, and I haven't glued it down yet, this happens to be a very close sort of cousin of the flocking material. You can get it from Rockler. It has an adhesive peel-off back to it. So as soon as I've painted this correctly and got it all finished, my footrest carpet will drop in like that, and I'm good to go. Now, the reason why I didn't flock mine is because when I look at my models in person, not on camera, I think texture and color and tone are really important. And if everything is the same, it gets lost. Your eye misses things. And I think it's a lot of fun to look at all the details of a model. And so that's why this, you know, I went to the trouble to sort of do this. And I'm very happy that I did. Now, obviously, you can see my drums are clamped together. Let me turn them around for you. And I'll put them on camera so that you can see them. So I wonder if you, yeah, there you go. That's pretty good, isn't it? The drums are looking really good. I have chosen this color, which is very Victoriana. It is a Victorian color, and it is not as harsh on the eye as some of the hideous greens that I've seen painted, which may be closer to the original. I don't know. But when you put the gold decals on this, and I finally paint this up, I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm really happy with that. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that we need to get a light at the very top of this post. So what I'm going to need to do is, I think I'm going to use one of the actual power connector cords, and I'm going to hide my wires hot and negative in these wires and get them curled up and get them up to the light up top. I think that will work quite well. So there we are. I wanted to do all of this because I do think it's important that you start to see what we're doing and see how it's really coming together. But as close as I said, as close as this looks to being in some semblance of finished, we're miles away, guys. I'm miles away because, as I said, I don't have a working dish yet. I haven't even painted this. There's a lot to do on this dish. And then it's all down to the mechanics of getting these bevel gears in and getting this turning. So, so that's where I am for this update. What we'll do now is I'm going to show you my visit with Mike the metalsmith, so that you can see where we are with the metal parts, and then we'll come back and we'll see where we are. I might give this another day just to see if any of my electric parts come, because it would be fun to try and get this sealed up and finished. That would be huge for me. I would love to do that. Okay, so anyway, off to the metalsmith. Let's go check that out. Okay, I'm about to unload on all of you because this is part update, part therapy session. First of all, do you like the shirt? Shameless promotion for the challenge, and here we go with a continuation of my part 3 update. Guys, I really don't know where to start, so I'm just going to dive in. So forgive me if I'm a little all over the map, but I'm going to try to explain to you in detail where I am and what's going on. Now, by the time you've seen this video, you probably have seen Lou's third update. His dish is looking absolutely beautiful. My dish arrived, and here it is. I have been working on it. It's got a beautiful copper, look at this. It's just gorgeous. Now, yes, you've got the build lines from the printer, but you know what? You lose them. You really do. You ignore them because they're beautiful. Now, I did have a little bit of a pop mark here that I'm working on, so that needs to be sanded down. It's gotten just a quick coat of black here. So what I'm going to do here is sand this down again, give this one more coat, and then I'll start working on the dish, and then we'll get all the decals and everything in it. But this is the resin printed dish, and my goodness, what an extraordinary print. Mr. Lou Del Meso over at Aztec Dummy printed these for myself and also for Wayne. Please don't ask him to print one for you. I don't think he will. These are 15 to 16 hours of print time, a lot of resin and a lot of effort. But perhaps maybe down the line the STL files will be available. I don't know. Don't want to make any promises, but I just want to say thank you to a very dear friend, a super talented guy, and his dish is ready to go. So I'm ready to go pretty soon too. This won't take a lot to get this done, a lot of decal work, but this is going to be beautiful. So I'm going to put that aside for a second. My base is coming along. Now, we all make choices. I've made a choice. Some of you are going to roll your eyes. Some of you are not going to be happy with this choice, and I respect that, but it's my model. So what I have done here is I have put a on and off switch behind the dish. You'll never see it. In fact, if I show you with this on, you can see it's going to disappear. You just won't see it. But I did that for ease of operation. I have also, underneath, I have not just added my switch, I've also added my plug, because I'm going to plug directly into power there. And I've got a little bit of work to do on these legs, but there you go. So that is done. It's looking a lot shinier than it is in person, but I've put a wood grain finish on this, and it just needs one more light sanding with some wire wool. I've got my carpet down, and that's looking quite beautiful. So just a little bit more work to do on the base, and then we should be good to go. Now, let me tell you what I've also been working on. Now, Wayne, the great Wayne, over at World of Wayne, sent us these Arduino boards. Now, Lou, being a lot smarter than I, has figured out how to program his, and I think he's got his board running quite well. My first board failed on me, and which was my second board, because the second board was the first board. Don't be confused. Wayne sent me a board and then said, oh, it needs to be reprogrammed because it's not quite right. So he sent me a second board. Well, I waited for the second board before I started the install, and I couldn't get it to fire. The first board, which is not programmed correctly, does fire up. And that's right here on the bench. Now, I'm going to try being the operative word here, to get some power to this for you. Because, that's what we've been doing here. We've been trying to sort of figure all this out. There's an awful lot to do if you're trying to take a model and add life to it and power to it and motors and everything else. So, so here it is. I'm going to turn it on. Let me kill these overhead lights just for a second, just to get it a little dimmer. And then we'll fire this up. Now, what you're going to see here is you're going to see that my top control lights are firing quite beautifully. However, when you turn it on, I believe what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to be in the center position with all the lights off except for these lights. Now I've got a third one here which will go into the bottom like there. Let's see if I can, come on, cooperate. No, there. So there it is. And so these are my calendar control surfaces, and they're lit quite well. But as I understand it, these side lights, which I've got a warm orange on. And these control lights are not supposed to be on. Now the pot, I've tried several positions on my pot, and that's supposed to be reverse super fast. Let me get you even closer if I can. So I'm all the way back on super fast, and then I'm supposed to go forward. Here's forward super fast, and you'll see that every once in a while the red light goes on in the center, which is indicating the years going by. The green, I believe, is days, and yellow is months, or vice versa. But, and these lights are supposed to go on, so that's all working well. But when I put it in the off position, the only lights that are supposed to be on is the center console lights. Now, I've managed to do that, and I've managed to put them in that center position, but for some reason it doesn't want to do that all the time. It wants to, there's forward. I'll go all the way back. There's back, and now I'll try to put it in that off position. And it's working. It is working, but it's temperamental. So anyway, I'm gonna have a powwow with the great world of Wayne, and hopefully we can figure out just exactly what's going on with it. But nonetheless, I would say that is progress. So let me unplug that. And I'll show you also here, you can see that it is, it's connected to the side rail. Here's the rail, and all this is going to have to be cleaned up and stuffed in there, but you can start to see that it's coming together. So that is that. So I've just got to figure this out. I've got a couple of issues. The issue one is my potentiometer working correctly? And is something on this board not programmed correctly? Can we reprogram it? Or do I have to start again? I don't know. But let me move this over here. And so just to get it out the way, and that leads us to the pièce de la résistance. Now, by the time this video gets out, which today is July the 4th, as I'm filming the last part of this Part 3 update, I'm hoping tomorrow to get Wayne and Lou's metal parts into the mail for them. Lou's will obviously arrive sooner than Wayne's because the postal, well, the UPS service, I'm going to ship them. It could be wiggy, but I'm believing Wayne should get his within 4 or 5 days. It shouldn't be that difficult to get them to him. But anyway, let me show you these metal parts, and let me show you what I've done and what the plan is. Because it's quite something, and now it's all kind of precariously put together here, so forgive me. But here it is. Here's this system, this setup, lying on its side. And you can see that, you know, it's quite impressive. I think it's quite impressive. And I'm not bothered by the scale of the ball. Now, a lot of you are going to go, that ball's out of scale, sorry. And you may be right, and I respect that. However, I feel like scale-wise it's going to be okay. That's my sense of it. And there it is. So let me put my pen under here. No, that's not going to do it. Will that do it? That will kind of do it, although that looks a little sad. Let me push this down there. Let me see. Oh, maybe this will work better. There. So there it is. And let me tell you what's going on here, the anatomy of this. So I've got a quick video here I'm going to show you because I think that will explain quite a bit of what's going on. You can see here that what I'm doing. Come on, play. Why don't you want to play? Let me try this again. There we go. So you can see that I was at the metal shop and we had all these parts. There's the sphere, one half of the sphere, as I'm showing you there. Now these are the bevel gears, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. I don't know if you're getting sound or not. I hope you're not, but you might be. Okay. So you can see those are the parts. There's been a lot of cleanup here. Now, I'm going to say to you that honestly, it's a mixed bag for me in terms of the result of our metal parts. They were done in pewter because the gentleman that I know, it's the only contact I have, only works in pewter. So he made casts from the resin parts. They were called cold casts, so we didn't destroy the original piece. And he made these resin pieces, these pewter pieces, excuse me. Now, pewter is an incredibly soft metal, as most of you may know. So it will sand up quite beautifully. It'll take JB Weld or epoxy resin quite well. So I think we've got something extraordinary here. Now, if you followed me at all on Instagram, I've showed you 2 tests that I did of this wheel turning. Now I've got one test here that I want to hopefully show you. Let me do this. Let's see here. No, it wants to be. There we go. So there's the test of my motor turning my dish at hyperspeed. Now, we're not going to be at hyperspeed, so we don't have to worry. Our board is going to control the speed of this by basically, in essence, using the potentiometer to essentially control the resistance, the current, essentially, that's going to the motor. So we should have a slow speed and a fast speed. I've not tested any of that yet, so I don't know. Now, I talked about bevel gears because those bevel gears that you saw were originally designed to go inside the ball, inside this ball. And there was going to be a shaft. The motor was going to live here. And a shaft was going to go up, and a bevel gear was then going to be able to come along here and then turn this. So that's how you were going to get that 90-degree turn. Now, what I have since discovered is you don't need that. What we've got here, and I'm going to sort of dissect this a little bit for you. Here, let me get overhead and start to dissect this. What you have here is you have this piece here, which I'm going to now take this tape off like that, and I'm going to lift up this piece, hopefully exposing what's going on here. There we go. So we have got a worm drive motor with a multi-speed worm drive motor. And what I've done is I have threaded through my pinball piece here, I've threaded through a 4mm copper tube, which fit beautifully over my threads. And if I pull out this side, you'll see these are the threads. These are the actual threads of the motor. Okay? This piece is a piece I got on Amazon, which is going to hold my dish, clamp my dish to the motor and turn. Do you see? And I'll show you this on close-up so you can see it. I got this on Amazon. Very simple, very clever, very clean. And it's got 2 Allen lugs on both sides, and you can adjust it so that it's perfectly in the center to make sure that you don't get any wobble. Now, because this this worm gear, I've cut it now to 55 millimeters. Now, so I've shortened it has, you know, less distance to travel, so less chance of any wobble. Now, what I'm betting on is, oh, let me show you one other thing while we're here, is I have used, now they're hidden under these pieces of tape, but I have inserted some little pre-threaded plugs, and I've glued those into the resin. And this sits beautifully on the center here. Now, I was able to center this by using a pipe that I ran down the center here to make sure that it was square to the actual dish. And so now all I do is I screw this to the dish. It's already epoxy resin. That is not going anywhere. That is over-engineered, and it looks beautiful. So that's how I did that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, when I'm ready to sort of close all this up, is I'm going to epoxy resin this. Now, you could also use JB Weld. I could also use JB Weld, but that's going to get welded, JB welded into this, and then the cup, the second sphere cup, see here it is, sits over it like so, and I'll glue in the top to that, and that's not going anywhere. I just have to make sure that that pin is square to the ball when I glue that, and that is not going anywhere. It just isn't. And what I could also do, and may do, is put, I can actually JB weld under this a little pipage just to support it on both sides, just to support it so it doesn't have any torque. But I don't think it'll go anywhere because I've ran this at several speeds, and it's quite good. In fact, let me show you that with my battery if I can. I can demonstrate this to you. So I'm gonna hold this. I'm going to attempt to hold this like this, and then I'm going to fire this up for you if I can. Let's see here. And you can see that that's turning beautifully with no wobble. So that is a result. And I think it's going to hold quite true to the actual dish. And what that allows me then to do is to actually put my engine mount in the bottom here. It's going to go in here. And then that sits on, obviously, on the rear of the time machine floor. Okay, and then the only other thing I have to do is run a wire for this piece, which is the globe, which is going to sit on top of this like this. So I'll show you how this works. We'll just thread this down here if I can. This is a nano chip from Evans Design. put that in here like this. That's going to sit in there like this. Look at this. This is beautiful. Let me get you closer. And then this is going to sit over it like that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. And that's pretty true to the film. And that glows red. So I'm very happy with that. That worked out quite well. And the way I did that is I just simply took the resin part that came with my kit, and I drilled into the bottom of it here, right there, and inserted my little red nano chip. And here that is. Let me see if I can get this to come on for you. I'm all fingers and thumbs. I apologize. But there. Look at that. I mean, that's just beautiful. So, there you have it. Rear assembly is ready to go together. It goes together quite well. Just a little bit of cleaning up of the pewter, but it's so soft that it's not a problem. A couple of pieces of copper pipage just to add some security to it, or as Lou likes to say, belts and suspenders. But then it all goes together. So I'm super happy with where that is. What I don't know is whether or not I'm going to be able to get this board to work. Now, I'm sure it's operator error, but as I said, I'm going to talk to Wayne, and hopefully we can reprogram this board, or we'll start again. It's a lot of work. It's several hours of work, but hey, you do what you have to do, because we can't quit. We've got to get this to work. So I'm going to see if I can get this to behave. If I can get it to behave, then I can start sealing everything up, and we're not that far away. So what I'm hoping is on the next update, I might film a little bit of my final assembly, and then I think we should be almost there. That's what I'm thinking. So there you go, from sprueVerse as part of the sprueVerse challenge, which includes World of Wayne, Wayne Green, and of course the great Lou Del Meso over at Aztec Dummy. You can follow all three of us, and like and subscribe if you like the content. That means an awful lot to me. Thank you for hanging in there for this long but I think very valuable update, because if you're getting this kit, I think it's helpful. If you're going to go crazy like we are and try to really put this thing together, okay? So that's it from sprueVerse. As always, I wish everybody be well, be safe, build something, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.